What is up, guys? Randomonium here. I decided I want to do something a little bit special today. My goal was to get the third part of the Juggernaut video out today. Unfortunately, I didn't get all of the clips I needed in time, so I haven't been able to edit them all together. So I decided to do something a little bit different where I'm going to go over a single gameplay of mine, going over one of the champions that I absolutely adore, which is Diana, and I'm going to give you guys a beginner's guide on how you can jungle with Diana. And I know that a lot of people do kind of videos like this, but the problem I have is that a lot of times these people who do these type of videos, they're like Diamond, Master, Challenger, people smurfing in low elo, and it's pretty much they could go whatever build they wanted, or they could play however they wanted and they'd still win. So when lower elo people try to replicate those results, they often aren't able to. So this video is designed to basically be actually helpful for people who are in low elo to actually help you climb, and it really is supposed to be a beginner's guide to the champion, so that you can actually make use of them in your games. So I'm going to be going with Diana in the jungle. I'm going to show up the runes on the screen. So the runes that I went for with this game is Dark Harvest, Sudden Impact, Zombie Ward, Relentless Hunter from the Domination Tree, and then Mana Flow Band and Celerity from the Sorcery Tree. And I know a lot of people will say, well, you know, Dark Harvest is a smurfing rune, but I actually think that there is some use in having it as a jungling rune, especially for somebody like Diana. It really helps make her late game even more powerful, because Dark Harvest is definitely a late game rune, and I think it can be very useful on more like assassin type junglers who are trying to basically hard farm and get ahead. So I'm doing my quick jungle clear right now. Diana can clear the entire jungle. She can basically do all 6 camps on her first clear if she wants to. I'm more concerned about counter ganking right now because the opposing jungler is the Sejuani, and I want to make sure that I'm top lane so that I can help counter gank when possible. So the way you start with Diana's clear is at level 1 you want to take her W, because at rank 1 her W and her Q have the same cooldown and they do roughly the same amount of damage, but obviously her W gives her a shield. So it's more powerful to take her W level 1 in the jungle than her Q. Level 2 you take her Q, and then you're going to max her Q first, W second, and E third. So I'm finishing off the red buff, and I'm going to path towards the blast cone to come over to see if I can get the scuttle crab. I see the scuttle crab is already taken, so I try to path around that, and then I see Sejuani on my minimap. So I start pathing up towards Sejuani to try and counter gank with her, and you will see right here that I come in. I use my E to stop the Sejuani from killing Yasuo immediately, and even though she is able to get the kill, we wind up going a 2-for-1 trade, which is exactly what you want. So this is how you play Diana in the early game, is you don't try and focus on being proactive and ganking for your team, you focus on being reactive and counter ganking. And then the big thing is that you just want to hard farm until level 6, because Diana's power spike really comes online. Once she hits level 6, she's able to really gank a lot and deal a ton of damage. Very few junglers can match Diana's level 6. So you can see I immediately go back to farming the jungle, and I'm just basically going to farm up until level 6. So I've cleared my Krugs and I've cleared my chickens, and at this point I could back, but I'm seeing that bot lane is getting pressured pretty hard, so I'm worried that they might try and dive the Caitlyn under tower. So I kind of moved down to potentially stop a dive. So I started clearing my Gromp and just keep my eye on the mini-map, try and make sure that they aren't going to try and dive her, and then I can use my smite to get a little bit more health so I can actually be useful if they try to dive. So I see they're moving up, I see they're about to dive, I clear the Gromp, and I come down to assist. So they press forward, I'm able to get the E on the Riven, so I'm able to deal a ton of damage on her. I flash out to try and get away. Unfortunately she does kill me, but we are able to get the trade onto the Riven, we exhaust the Draven, get the kill onto the Draven, and then we also are going to pick up the kill on the Sejuani. So again, I'm there to counter gank. I'm there to basically support my team. I'm not being proactive. I'm predicting where the enemy team is going to go, and I'm basically reacting to how the enemy team is playing. And because of this, we now have a 1400 gold lead at 5 minutes. And I still have good farm. I'm still almost level 6. So this is really how you want to play Diana, is you want to predict what the enemy team is going to do, and then you just want to be there, ready to react to the aggression that they try to do. And then once you hit level 6, you want to have a complete tempo change. Once you hit level 6, it is gank, 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 over and over and over again. You just constant aggression, and then you want to just constantly be efficient with your farming, essentially. So I'm clearing my wolves, and I'm basically going to hover around mid lane and bot lane, basically looking for an opportunity to counter gank while I wait for my my blue to come back up. So I cleared out some vision, and I put down some vision of my own in the river, and I'm going to come back over to my blue. I'm going to take my blue. I don't think this is going to get me level 6. I think I need one more camp after this to get level 6. Which kind of puts me in an awkward spot because I see the bot lane is getting pushed in pretty hard, but I won't have my ultimate for one more camp. So I move down to try and see if I can relieve some pressure, but you can see that immediately they start backing off. So it's very clear that they have that area warded. So I kind of come back up, see if I can get some vision down. Draven's there. I know he can't kill me, so I'm not too worried. And there's also the honey fruit that's there, so I can gain some health back. But I'm basically just trying to relieve some pressure on bot lane until my Gromp respawns, and I can try and get level 6. So I definitely wasted a little bit too much time there. I definitely was not as efficient as I could be. I think I was a little bit worried about Sejuani ganking bot lane, since they have the Tri-Brush pink warded or vision warded. So I wanted to kind of just hang around and make sure that the Sejuani wasn't going to gank. So now I've got level 6. I should be looking for ganks. I'm looking mid lane, I'm looking bot lane. Both our mid lane and our bot lane are pushed in pretty far, so there's no real gank opportunity. I'm keeping my eyes on the mini-map. I know that Sejuani's blue has kind of respawned right about now, since my red has respawned. So I figured that Sejuani's probably on the top side of the match, or top side of the map. And I'm going to try and clear my red and then look towards either mid lane or top lane to either counter gank or gank. Bot lane's able to get a double kill, which is really good. I think those early ganks that I had helped them out a lot. Nasus is missing, so there's no gank opportunity there, so I'm just going to clear my Krugs. So I start moving up into top lane to see if I can gank. The Nasus is kind of pushed up pretty far. I walk over a ward. Nasus pops his ultimate. I use my E right here, and Yasuo can basically ult off of my E because you're considered to be airborne. It's considered to be an airborne effect for Diana's E. So Diana synergizes really well with Yasuo, and that makes it a very easy kill, very easy gank for us. So immediately back, and then I'm looking towards going towards bot lane. So I see the Riven is top lane. I ping her out. Sejuani appears top lane as well, so I know that Draven's alone. So my first instinct is to go towards a gank in bot lane, and then if there's no gank available in bot lane, I'm going to go to Drake. And that's because I know that the Sejuani can't contest, because she was just on the top side of the match. I know the Riven can't contest, so we have the advantage on the bot side of the map. So there's no real gank available. Draven is hugging his tower, so I drop a Vision Ward, and I'm free to do Drake. And Diana's very good at taking dragons. She gets a lot of tankiness from her shield. She has a lot of damage. She has good sustained DPS with her passive. And you can see that I am weaving in my spells every about 3 auto attacks with Diana. That's because whenever Diana uses an ability, she gains attack speed on her next 3 attacks. So even though like her E doesn't really do any damage, I was still using her E in order to gain that bonus attack speed every 3 attacks. So we get Drake. We're constantly keeping our eyes on the mini-map. We're looking for ganking opportunities, and then if no ganking opportunities are available, then we go back to farming the jungle. I figure that Sejuani's coming towards bot lane, which she is. She just walks over ward, so I'm looking to try and set up a lane gank, basically to counter gank the Sejuani when she appears. So my team starts pushing up, trying to bait out the gank. Unfortunately, the enemy team actually has a ward in one of these brushes, and they know I'm here. So that definitely is not going to go in my favor. So lane starts pushing back. They know I'm there. Caster minion attacks me, so I immediately know that, yeah, I'm made. So Draven moves forward. Yep, he attacks me. Sejuani misses her ultimate. I ult back to the Sejuani to try and peel for the Caitlyn, but I take a ton of damage from the Riven. I wind up losing my life there, but you can see that in bot lane they're doing pretty well. Orianna is roaming down, and they're going to wind up cleaning up this fight. Yeah, so they're able to clean up this fight pretty easily in bot lane. Orianna escapes by the skin of her teeth with her hourglass, sorry, her stopwatch, and that winds up being a pretty nice gain for my team. So even though I died, it was a net advantage for the team, so it's worth it. But that said, I definitely made a mistake. I should have known that that area was warded. I should have known by the way they were acting that it was warded, and I probably should have just backed off. So blue's up, so I immediately go to my blue. One of the downsides of Diana is that she's very dependent upon her blue. So if you've got a mid laner who really needs blue as well, you can definitely kind of fight over that. That's why I kind of sometimes go for mana flow band. Even though water walking might be the better keystone, mana flow band really helps her in the jungle with her mana issues and allows you to potentially hand off a blue buff to your mid laner if your mid laner is really stomping. So off of that play, we're able to get first tower. So now I'm basically just looking for other opportunities and just constantly trying to clear my jungle, clear, farm, get wards down, make sure the Sejuani can't impact anywhere. A lot of Diana's ability is basically negating the jungler. So I see Yasuo roaming down, so we're going to move in as a group of 3 to try and take out this Xerath. Orianna hits her shockwave, Yasuo ultimates, and it's pretty much all she wrote. We see Sejuani over on a ward, and so we move to try and collapse on her. She tries to get away, but eventually we are able to catch her, and it's a pretty easy kill. And then from there we're going to immediately look to Rift Herald, so that we can kind of snowball our advantage and get another tower. So Rift is pretty much a guaranteed tower. Diana can solo it, but Orianna's being very helpful and helping me out so I can go a little bit quicker. So yeah, you can see how quickly Diana is able to take the Rift Herald. So as soon as I take the Rift Herald, I'm going to be looking towards top lane and mid lane. The Rift Herald makes the announcement Nasus should be backing off, but instead he's moving forward, so I immediately go towards top lane to assist Yasuo, and we're able to just barely kill the Nasus before Yasuo dies. So with this big wave pushing, I summon Rift Herald, and we're able to get top tower as well. So you can see that Diana she deals a lot of damage to towers, especially with her cleave. Her auto attacks are empowered. Every third auto is empowered. So now I know that the blue is most likely up because my red is up. So I kind of move down to see if I can try and steal Sejuani's blue. So that's something you can keep in mind, is that if both you and the enemy jungler started on the same side initially when the game started, so if you both started bot side, then traditionally your buffs are going to spawn at roughly the same time, unless the enemy jungler does some type of weird pathing on you. So since my red was up, I figured it was good to try and check her blue buff to see if her blue was up, and it was. I was able to get the steal on it. So you can see I'm just clearing. I'm going to clear Krugs, and then Drake is up in 50 seconds. So once I finish clearing Krugs, I'm going to back, I'm going to buy, and I'm going to immediately go towards Drake because it's going to be an Infernal Drake. So I'm moving towards Drake right now, and you can see that I've got Runic Echoes, Blue Smite, and I'm working towards a Zhonya's. So one of the big things with Zhonya's is that you want to... It's very good to pick up Zhonya's on Diana. It's a question of when you pick it up, and that's really dependent upon when you're going to start team fighting. You want to have Zhonya's available for team fights, but you don't want to... You can kind of delay it if there's a lot more skirmishing going on. So you can see I pull out the Infernal Drake to make it so that it's much harder to steal. I'm able to get the Infernal Drake and we immediately start rotating mid since there's a team fight going on there. See the Riven, so I flash, I'm able to get and land my Q, and able to finish her off. So in general with Diana, as far as her build is concerned, you're going to rush your jungle item, you're going to want to rush boots, tier 2 boots pretty quickly. You can either go Sorcerer's Shoes or Lucidity boots, depending on what you plan on building. I tend to like Sorcerer's Shoes a little bit more, but there's some instances where Lucidity is better. And then Zhonya's is definitely a core item on her, but sometimes you want to get it third or fourth item instead of kind of that second item. I'm going for its second item here because we have a pretty sizable lead. We're team fighting a lot, so having the Zhonya's second item is probably a better choice. I definitely made a mistake here. I should have been pushing bot much sooner than this. I kind of went back into my jungle to clear my jungle. I should have been pushing bot like 30 seconds sooner, so that way this tower would have already been crashing into their bot lane, and we probably could have gotten to that bot lane tower. I definitely disagree with my team's decision to keep pushing right now. There's no real reason to keep trying to force out an inhib when the entire enemy team is up. They should have just pushed out mid and then rotated bot with me, and then we could have very easily gotten this tower. And unfortunately, instead, they kind of forced it. They were tower diving. You could see the Yasuo was like, you know, all the way up to their Nexus towers trying to dive, and they wind up getting killed because of it. So I know that they're going to try and push down mid lane, so I rotate back up to mid lane to try and slow down their push a little bit. But there's pretty much no chance I'm going to be able to hold on to this tower with multiple people pushing down on me. I make a mistake there. I go for the Draven instead of trying to go for the wave. I should have tried to Q the wave instead of the Draven, so that was a mistake on my part. I knew they were going to get that tower, but the big thing was just preventing them from getting two towers on the back end. So team is resetting, so I've got some time to farm. We got Baron spawning in about 20 seconds, so I definitely want to secure vision around there. Now that we've taken down all the outer towers, the goal is to try and start moving up our ward lines into the enemy jungle and start trying to starve out the Sejuani, trying to take as many of her jungle camps as possible. As you can see, we're moving into the jungle. I'm checking the jungle camps to see if I can steal some jungle camps from her, clearing out their vision so that they can't move safely through their jungle. I see that my Caitlyn is kind of pushing up by herself, so I'm keeping an eye on her, making sure that she's safe. After I clear these wolves, I'm going to rotate to assist her. We see that Yasuo is getting collapsed upon, so we're rotating towards bot lane. Yeah, it's a pretty strong crit. So I ult in to get the Sejuani, use my E to basically ensure that she can't escape. Maokai comes in pretty hard and heavy. We're able to pick up a couple kills. And at this point, we've got a pretty sizable gold advantage. So the big thing right now is just don't do anything stupid. When you're this far ahead, you can pretty much be guaranteed to close out the game. Enemy team is respawning. I know that we're not going to be able to get that inhib tower, so I just basically rotate up, steal away the red buff, and my goal is basically just steal every single jungle camp I can from the Sejuani, so she basically has no gold. And that's how you kind of slowly win the game, is you basically make it so that their jungler doesn't get any farm, you can make it so their top laner doesn't get as much farm, the support really can't get as much farm, and you basically just starve everybody out, and that's how you get a much greater gold lead, because the only people that are going to be getting gold are the carries, or either the junglers got the steal farm from the carries. So Sejuani checks to see her jungle camps are up, they're all gone, and I'm able to safely back now. So I saw that Riven was pushing, so I decided not to back. I cleared my Gromp, and I see that Riven is continuing to push, so I'm going to cover bot lane tower, make sure she can't get it. Pretty poor CSing on my part, but oh well. I feel pretty confident that I can take the Riven. She is the support in this game. So I see that there are multiple people top lane, so that's my cue to start pushing. Yasuo is pushing mid, so I know that I'm pretty much safe. They're going to want to respond to the Yasuo before they want to respond to me. So that gives me pretty much free reign to push as hard as I want. I know that I'm not going to be able to get the inhib tower though, and I see that they're exerting a ton of pressure top lane. So I'm backing now to see if I can assist with top lane. Yasuo gets the inhib, but he pays for it with his life. So it's really up to me to basically defend this top lane push. And then additionally, there is a concern that they could potentially go for Baron right now, with a lot of my teammates are down. So I ward, make sure they're not going to bush camp me. And back to farming. So the big goal here is that you just always want to be looking at the mini-map, but constantly farming, constantly being efficient, constantly moving, predicting where the enemy jungler is going to be, and then just always trying to stay one step ahead so you can keep your farm up, keep your levels up. Because Diana is really powerful once she gets some gold under her belt. So we've got a Mountain Drake up, so I'm clearing top to bottom. And once we feel like we've got set up around Mountain Drake, we're going to take that. So I'm waiting in this bush to try and get the Sejuani. I don't really want to start up the Drake while the Sejuani is around. We're kind of trying to stall right now around the Drake. There's no rush to start it because Yasuo is pushing top lane pretty hard. And because we have the mid inhib down, that means that the mid lane is going to be pushing in as well. So once we have Yasuo pushed up far enough, we see Draven is trying to clear mid, we can start the Drake. They try to go for a steal. I think this is a bad idea on their part. I'm able to outsmite the Sejuani and make it out alive. But yeah, that basically winds up hurting them pretty heavily, I think. I immediately go back to farming, trying to clear out since I'm low health, and now I'm going to start trying to push because this wave is crashing. So I'm basically just trying to keep my uptime as high as possible. I know that I can't really assist in a team fight right now because I'm too low health, but I can assist with pushing out waves at the very least. My team tries to fight in the enemy jungle again. I mean, you can't do that until you've got a lot of vision control and you've denied a lot of vision. Team is trying to force things way too hard, in my opinion. So I'm pathing down towards bot lane to basically try and assist my team, but they should be trying to back off. There's no reason to force this and risk throwing. It's good. They finally back off. And immediately I'm going to go back to try and farm. So just keep trying to keep your farm up. That's huge with Diana. So you can see, like, I'm 2 levels higher than my mid laner right now. And I'm 4 levels higher than my support because I'm just constantly farming, constantly getting money in the bank. Just keep pushing, keep getting farm. That's so crucial with Diana. You should always try to be the highest level in the game with Diana. You'll just be so much more powerful. I use my E on the Scuttle Crab there because if you hard CC the Scuttle Crab, it significantly reduces the Scuttle Crab's resistances, which means that you can take the Scuttle Crab a lot faster. We see that Nasus is pushed up way too far, so I immediately start rotating. I catch Riven out, and I can pretty much instantaneously delete her. A lot of this has to do with the fact that I've been like farming like a madman, and my Dark Harvest is really powerful now. So that's another thing that's very important, is that if you're going for Dark Harvest Diana, farming is so huge because it really is going to rank up your Dark Harvest a lot faster, allows you to really get that that super powerful Dark Harvest proc. Because we killed 2 people, we could either go for Baron or we could go for towers. I think we can get multiple towers, so in that case, going for the towers is the better call. If you only think you can get like 1 tower, then Baron is definitely usually the better call, but you can see we're pushing up. My team wants to try and go for the finish. We're able to get another kill, but the mid inhib respawns right about now. So we go for the finish, we get basically cock blocked by the mid inhibitor respawning. So we're able to clear out the mid inhib. At this point, we probably want to go for the top inhib. My team is kind of greedy. They're trying to go for the win. I'm kind of, you can see how far back I am because I know that we can't take this fight. I know that when they come off the fountain, they're going to be much more powerful than us because they've bought and we haven't. So I'm trying to, tell my team to back up. I've been trying to ping them, basically saying, hey, let's just leave. We got what we wanted. We got what we came here for. Let's just leave. Yasuo goes in. We see Riven is flanking us. We definitely need to leave here. Team is not listening to me, unfortunately. Yeah, like, Orianna is out of mana. There's no reason to stick around here right now. I see the Riven is there, and I get baited in. I go for the kill. I'm not able to get her. I Zhonya's to avoid the Sejuani ultimate, so that was a good Zhonya's by me, but overall it was a pretty poor play on my part. There's no reason for me to go in there. So I knew that it was a bad decision to stick around, but yet I got kind of baited because I didn't want my team to get destroyed. I should have just left. But you can see that that's why you want to pick up Zhonya so early on Diana, is you can basically use it to deny some really powerful CC. Like I was able to bait out the Sejuani ultimate and then Zhonya's so that her ultimate was basically negated completely. We've got Drake spawning in 1 minute. Baron is up as well. My blue buff is also respawning. So when I'm coming off the fountain, I'm going to be looking towards Drake first because it's definitely kind of risky to go for Baron when the enemy jungler is up. So especially since it's going to be an Infernal Drake, I believe. So that's kind of my priority. So I'm going to grab blue buff and then go immediately towards Drake. So the rest of my team is going towards Baron. They're trying to go for a Baron call, which is very risky. But I move up to support them because if they're going to try and do something stupid like start Baron, I at least want to be there to try and help them. Caitlyn's able to get a good pick. I'm trying to basically peel for her. I see the Nasus right there. He's rooted. And this is the power of Diana right there. That Nasus was had a lot of tank items. So you can see the Nasus had a Thorn Mail, he had a Dead Man's Plate, he had a Spectre's Cowl, and I pretty much deleted him off the map. And the same thing goes for the Sejuani. The Sejuani couldn't do much of anything against me, and she had Warmogs, Gargoyle Stone Plate, Bramble Vest. She had a lot of resistances, and I was still able to basically just shred through her. And part of that has to do with the fact that they're not building a lot of resistances, and I went for a Void Staff and a Death Cap pretty easily. But the other thing has to do with the fact that my Dark Harvest is really coming online, and a lot of that has to do with the massive amount of farm that I got. So we wind up finishing the game 10-3-10. It winds up being a 6.67 KDA. I had about a 51% kill participation, but the big thing is that I had 7.9 CS per minute. I had some of the highest CS in the game. You can see right here, the only person who had higher CS than me was the Caitlyn, and she only had 2 more CS than me. So I was just absolutely huge. You can see I was level 17 at the end of the game, so I was the highest level in the game. Had tons of farm, but I still was keeping my kill participation up. And that's pretty much how you play Diana in the jungle. She's a very farm-centric jungler, but she has a ton of power when she hits level 6. If you're going to play her for the first time, I would recommend trying out Electrocute or Phase Rush first. But once you start getting an idea of how her combos work and things like that, you can try out the Dark Harvest. Dark Harvest makes her weaker in the earlier game, but it makes her a lot stronger in the late game. But it's really reliant upon you just like hard farming and being able to get those counter ganks off and get those early kills so you can start stacking up that Dark Harvest so you can reach that 150 stacks as soon as possible so that you can basically have always have your Dark Harvest up once you get 150 stacks because it lasts a lot longer. So if this video helped you, if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you want me to do more videos like this in the future, please let me know. These videos take a lot less time than the beginner's guides to the different classes and subclasses, so I can definitely start sprinkling these videos in. in addition to all my other normal videos. Just let me know what you guys want, and I'll do my best to do that for you guys. So I hope you all have a fantastic day. This is Randomonium signing off.